What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of rebuilding the EJ257. So today we're going to be working on taking the engine completely out and then stripping it down to the block, draining the oil, and then all that good stuff. So we'll get started. As you guys can see right now, we've got the engine ready to be pulled out by these chains, and like in the last video, we got everything untied from it, all the hoses, all the wires disconnected. So now we're ready to pull it. So let's get to it.
So we got the engine all bolted up to the puller, and we have it sitting at a 1/4 ton for weight here because the engine only weighs about 250 pounds, so it's really not too heavy. As you can see, where we bolted it up, I've used the AC compressor bracket over here. It has like a hole in here, so you can put a chain through there. So I'd recommend using a chain just because it's strong. And then the other mounting point to kind of balance it off I've used is the intercooler bracket over here. My brother and I put an eye hook through here, and we've kind of ghettoed it with a, what do you call that? Like a
clip.
Yeah, a metal clip of some kind, just because we didn't really have anything else for it. So now that we have it all hooked up, we should be able to just easily pull it out, depending on how much trouble it gives us with the transmission, because I hear that's always the hardest part, is the transmission disconnecting from the engine. I don't know how long that will take for us, but we'll get started and kind of see and work with what we've got. So yeah.
All right, we'll see you when we got the engine out of here.
So we just pulled the engine out of the car. It really was not that hard. You just had the 2 engine mount bolts right here, and of course you have to take out all these bell housing bolts apart too. And when you take the engine out, make sure your clutch fork is actually not engaged in the throwout bearing. You want to pop it off and then kind of set it back here so it's not in the throwout bearing itself. Otherwise, you're going to have issues pulling the engine from the transmission. And the reason you loosen this, the pitch stop mount on here, from the actual transmission itself, is when you're pulling the engine up, the transmission is going to come up as well. And if you have the pitch stop mount attached, it's not going to let you push the transmission up with the engine while you're pulling it. So you want to make sure this is disconnected, and it really should not be that hard. I mean, it took what, 5-10 minutes for me and my brother.
Yeah,
so
probably the most.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, with the engine out, next process is gonna be basically getting it on the stand. And before we get it on the stand, we gotta pull out the clutch, flywheel, all that.
Pressure plate, throwout bearing. Yeah, that way we can just easily mount it to the engine stand, and we don't have to worry about the whole clutch assembly, and it'll give us a little more room to work with. I also want to pull off probably the turbo. I want to pull off the headers with the up pipe. You can see it's really bad, so this engine needs a really good cleaning and everything. And the hot side has a crack on the just right in here. You can't really tell because there's not enough light, but every VF39 turbo on a Subaru is probably going to have that notorious crack on it. So yeah, oil is still in here, so we got to drain the oil out of here. We did drain all the coolant out, so it shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't give us an issue with that, although we might still have a little bit of coolant left in the head. So once we split the block apart and take the heads off, there might be some coolant spilling. But yeah, we got to get the oil out, and I want to get the crank pulley off as well, but I don't have a tool for that, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to get that off. because I still have to get the front timing belt cover off of here. That way I can pull the timing belt apart, and then we can actually split the heads from the block. But yeah, the intake manifold's coming off, the crossover pipe for the coolant's coming off. And yeah, I just want to get this whole block stripped from all the pipes, the manifold, everything drained. So all we have is the long block left to work on. So yeah, we'll be doing that after we get it on the engine stand here, and it should really not be that hard. So yeah, we'll get to it.
All right, we'll do most of that and see you guys in a bit. All right, guys, to get the engine on the stand, we gotta first take off the pressure plate, and it's got 9 screws or 10. I'm not quite sure.
They are
so you want to take those
12
off.
mil, and I'm using an impact gun for it just to make it quick.
Sweet. So let's get those off.
There goes the clutch. There you got the pressure plate. Then you got the clutch. Oh, wow, the clutch actually doesn't even look that bad. It almost looks brand new. I think I'm gonna actually be able to reuse it.
Yeah, I would keep it if it looks like that, dude. Yeah, that way you don't have to spend like more money buying stuff.
I want to get an ACT heavy duty clutch. Flywheel, probably want to get it resurfaced. Yeah, but I want to pull it off. I think they're 14 mil head bolts, so I'm going to get those. And I think they're actually torqued to a specific setting, so an impact gun is not going to get those off. Well, not that easily. So let me get a 14 mil socket.
All right, guys, so we just got the flywheel off of there. There were like, what, 8 bolts right here.
2, 4, 6, 8, yep.
Yeah, we got them out, but we had to actually put a little bolt in the actual flywheel, the one that holds the crank on, and hold it so we can get those bolts out, because if you try to get them out right there, it's just going to keep spinning. So we actually had to hold it,
the flywheel somehow, and
yeah, so we can get them out.
Yeah, get these bolts out of there.
All right, so now we're just gonna get the engine on the engine stand over here. So what we're gonna do is basically just use these 2 little bolts right there, and then get them on the bottom ones here, and then we've got some bolts, long ones.
2 of the long bolts that
right
go
there
on top.
Yeah, and we're just gonna put some in here, there, and then use those 2 bottom ones. All right, so we'll see you guys after we get that done. Okay, guys, so we just got the engine on the stand right now. It was kind of a pain in the butt. The 2 bolts we intended to use on the bottom, these ones right there, we actually could not use them because they were too short. They only went up to like right there. So we had to use different bolts, put them in there. Yeah, and then if you do have an engine stand, I would really recommend instead of trying to have this on here while you're getting the engine on, is completely take this off and actually mount this piece to the engine first and then get it in there. Otherwise, actually, it wasn't a very big deal. We got it done in like 20 minutes or less. Next project is we're gonna be doing the oil, and as you can see, we got like some coolant leaking out of there, but next thing we're gonna do is drain the oil from the pan. All right, So we'll get that done and we'll see you guys after it's done. All right, guys, so we actually did not drain the oil. The header was in the way, so we had to pull that off first. And it had a heat shield around it, which was a pain in the butt to get off. There were so many screws. But anyway, if you guys are taking your headers off, it's basically just like 3 bolts for stock one, 3 bolts right there,
and then 3 bolts here.
Yeah, you'll go on this side and you'll have 3 there. You'll have to undo, and then if you want, you can undo the up pipe that goes right in there, and it's got 3 bolts as well. And we just basically put that off to the side, I think just over here, laying right there. Yeah, but that's what we did right now. It took a while. I think now we are ready to finally drain the oil. So we'll get a catch pan under here, right there, and then get the oil drained. So we're gonna do that real quick, and then we'll catch you guys after we do that. All right, guys, so we got the oil draining right now. It's taking a while because it's cold, so it's gonna drain pretty slow. So we got a drain pan.
It's gonna just take forever.
Yeah, just got it right there, slowly catching it. So now, while it's doing that, we're gonna take the manifold off and try to see what else we can just get off the top. And
yeah, I want to get done as much as possible while the oil is draining, just so we're not waiting around on the oil.
Yeah.
So I think the best part right now would be just to work on the top of the engine, get all the top parts off, and then we'll go from there. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So we'll get those done, and we'll see you guys after. All right, guys, so we're gonna wrap this video up. The last thing we did was take the manifold off the top right here, and it's just sitting off to the side. And basically it's super easy. There are some bolts here, there. Same thing with the other side. And then you're gonna have some ones on the bottom you'll wanna unscrew right there. And it was like sitting right there. So pretty simple. After you get those undone, then easy to take off, except this little part over here, you're gonna have to take the
fuel return or the fuel feed off before you take the intake manifold, because it's almost close to impossible taking the intake manifold, having your fuel lines
trying to get it squeezed through there. Almost impossible. So we suggest taking that off. Anyway, we were still letting the oil drain, but now we're gonna close it up, and basically we're done for today. Did a lot today. In next video, we're gonna be basically stripping the whole top and getting it down to the actual block so we can see it, work on it, see what's wrong with it. And yeah, you wanna say anything?
Yeah, just a little recap on this. Headers off, like we said before. Flywheel, clutch, pressure plate off. Some top of the motor off. It's not as much as we wanted to get done today, but we kind of ran out of time, so couldn't finish the rest of it. Couldn't finish as much as I wanted to, but we'll save that for next week. So yeah, we're gonna have to finish up here. Still have a whole lot to do on this, so we're done for now. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want to know any information about this build, and
yeah, just leave us a comment down below. Yeah, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.